Welcome to this walkthrough guide on how to truly hide a worksheet in Excel. Ever feel worried about someone accidentally stumbling upon sensitive information like budgets or private calculations that you thought were hidden? Perhaps you've even had colleagues accidentally change data on a sheet that they weren't supposed to touch. Now, you might know how to hide a sheet in the standard way, but it's easily found and unhidden. What if you need to truly conceal a worksheet, making it invisible even from the Unhide dialog box? Well, then you're in the right place. Excel has a powerful, lesser-known feature to completely hide worksheets, making them inaccessible from the standard user interface. And today, I'm going to show you how to make the most of it. Let's begin by looking at the standard hide feature that many Excel users are already familiar with. It's useful, but as we'll see, it's not very secure. So here I have my workbook, and let's say I want to temporarily hide this sheet called sensitive data. I just move my mouse over the sheet tab down here, right-click to bring up the context menu, and then I simply select Hide. Watch the tab bar closely, and it's gone. You'll notice how the sensitive data tab just disappears from the bottom row. It's out of sight, which can be handy for just tidying up your workspace if you have a lot of sheets. But here's the crucial limitation. Doing it in this way provides almost no real protection from anyone else using the workbook, or even from yourself accidentally unhiding it later. Let me show you just how easy it is to bring it back. I'll right-click on any other visible sheet tab, like this summary sheet here, and in the menu that pops up, I simply choose Unhide. Instantly, Excel helpfully presents this little Unhide box, listing every sheet that's currently hidden using the standard method. And look, there's our sensitive data sheet, clear as day. There's absolutely no password, no protection, nothing stopping anyone from seeing this list. And all I have to do is select it from the list, click OK, and the sheet is immediately back in view, exactly as it was. So while the standard hide function is fine for a quick tidy up, it's definitely not suitable if you need to properly conceal information or prevent accidental access. For that, we need to go a bit deeper. To truly hide our worksheet, we need to access a part of Excel that operates behind the scenes. It's called Visual Basic for Applications, or VBA for short. Now, don't let the name intimidate you though. You won't need to write any code today. Think of this as looking under the bonnet of Excel. It gives us access to more advanced properties of workbook objects, just like our sheets. The specific very hidden option that we want isn't available in the normal right-click menus, so the Visual Basic Editor is where we need to go. There are two primary ways to open the editor. The first is a simple keyboard shortcut, which is my preferred method because it's super quick. The shortcut is Alt F11. And there we go. The new window that popped up is the Visual Basic Editor. You can see Microsoft Visual Basic for Applications here in the title bar. Let's close this for now so I can show you the second method. The second way is via the Developer tab in Excel's main ribbon. Look along the top tabs here. We have Home, Insert, Page Layout, etc. You should see one labeled Developer. If you do see it, great, just click on that. However, by default, Excel sometimes hides this tab. If you don't see the Developer tab, here's how to enable it really quickly. Click on the File menu in the top left corner. Then go all the way down to the bottom and click on Options. This opens the main Excel Options window. In here, find and click on Customize ribbon on the left-hand side. Now, look over on the right side under Main tabs. You'll see a list of all of the available tabs. Just scroll through that list until you find Developer. See how mine is unticked? Simply click the little checkbox next to it to enable it. Once it's ticked, click OK at the bottom to close the Options window. Now, back in your main Excel window, you'll see the Developer tab has appeared in the ribbon. Go ahead and click on it. Over on the far left of the Developer tab commands, you'll see a button labeled Visual Basic. This button takes us directly to the same Visual Basic editor window that we saw earlier. So go ahead and click it. And here we are again in the editor. So use either Alt F11 or the Developer tab Visual Basic button, whichever you find easier to remember. And now that we're inside the editor, you might see a few different panes or windows in here. The two that we care about today are typically docked over here on the left-hand side. The Project Explorer usually at the top, and the Properties window usually just below it. If, for some reason, you don't see these, you can always go up to the View menu at the top of the editor window and select Project Explorer or Properties window to make them appear. Our first step is the Project Explorer. Think of this window as a file tree or navigation pane specifically for the components of your currently open Excel workbook. You'll see your workbook name listed, often as VBA Project, followed by the file name in parentheses. Underneath that, you should see a folder called Microsoft Excel Objects. If it's not already expanded, click on the little plus sign next to it. Inside, you'll find a list representing all of the worksheets currently in your workbook. Now pay close attention to how they are listed. Excel has an internal name for each sheet, like Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and so on, which you'll see first. Then, in parentheses, it'll helpfully show the actual name that you see on the Sheet tab back in Excel, like Sensitive Data or Summary. This helps you easily identify the correct one. What you need to do now is carefully identify the exact sheet that you want to make very hidden from this list. In my case, it's this one here, Sheet 2, Sensitive Data. Double check that you're selecting the right one. Clicking the wrong sheet here could lead to some confusion later on. Once you've found it, just click on it once with your mouse. You'll see that it becomes highlighted, usually in blue, indicating that it's now the selected object whose properties we can adjust. Right, with our target worksheet, Sheet 2, Sensitive Data, selected in the Project Explorer up here, our focus now shifts to the Properties window, which is usually located just below the Project Explorer down here. This crucial window shows all of the characteristics, or properties, associated with whatever item is currently selected above. Since we've selected a worksheet, it lists all the settings for that specific sheet. The properties are listed alphabetically, so we just need to scroll down this list, carefully looking for the property name Visible. And there it is. You can see the property name Visible on the left and its current value on the right. Right now for my sheet, it says -1 Excel Sheet Visible. This is the standard default state for any worksheet. It's fully visible in Excel. The number -1 is just Excel's internal code for visible. Now here is where the magic happens. Click directly on the value -1 Excel Sheet Visible. You'll see a drop-down arrow appear on the right-hand side. Click that arrow. This reveals the different visibility states that we can assign to this worksheet. Let's take a look at them individually. -1 Excel Sheet Visible. That's the default normal visible state. 0 Excel Sheet Hidden. This corresponds to the standard hide that we did earlier using the right-click menu. It has the internal code 0. Choosing this is exactly the same as right-clicking and hiding. It's easily unhidden. And then 2 Excel Sheet Very Hidden. This is the one we want. It has the internal code 2, and it's the setting that makes the sheet truly disappear from the normal Excel interface, including the Unhide dialog box. So carefully move your mouse down and select 2 Excel Sheet Very Hidden. Click on it. And that's it. You've successfully changed the property. The sheet is now flagged internally as Very Hidden. Okay, so we've set the property in the editor. We're done in here for now, so let's close it down and return to our main spreadsheet to see the results. You can click on the X in the top right corner of this window, or use the keyboard shortcut Alt-Q. Now, back in our familiar Excel window, let's look down at our sheet tabs. Remember where sensitive data used to be? It's gone. The change that we made in the editor takes effect immediately. The sheet is no longer visible here. But the real proof is checking if someone can easily unhide it using the standard method. So let's test that. I'm going to right-click on another visible tab and now look at the Unhide option in the menu. On my system here, you can see that it's completely grayed out. I can't even click on it. In some scenarios, you might be able to click on the Unhide option, but when you do, the dialog box that appears will be empty, or at least it won't list our sensitive data sheet. This confirms it. Excel's standard interface simply doesn't see sheets that are set to very hidden. They are effectively off its radar for the normal user. So, success! The sheet is now properly concealed, much more securely than using the standard hide function. And one of the best parts about this is that any functions that are referencing this sheet will still function as expected. The sheet works like normal, but is simply inaccessible in the regular user interface. So we've successfully hidden the sheet completely. But what happens when you, the owner of the workbook, need to access or edit the sheet again? Obviously, you need a way to bring it back. And thankfully, it's just as straightforward. We essentially reverse the same steps that we just took. So firstly, we need to get back into that control room, the Visual Basic Editor. Once the editor window is open, go back to the Project Explorer pane on the left. Find our hidden sheet in the list. There it is, Sheet 2 Sensitive Data. Even though it's hidden in Excel, it's always going to be listed here in the editor. Click on it to select it again. Now, take a look down at the Properties window for the selected sheet. Find that same visible property that we changed earlier, and you can see that it correctly shows to Excel sheet very hidden, confirming its current state. To make it visible again, we just need to change this property back to its original default state. So click on the value to Excel sheet very hidden, click on the drop-down arrow on the right, and this time select the top option, -1 Excel sheet visible. You'll see that the value immediately updates in the Properties window. That's all there is to it. We can now close the editor using either the X or Alt-Q. And back in Excel, would you look at that? Just like magic, our Sensitive Data Worksheet tab has reappeared right where it was before, fully visible and ready for us to work with again. So, hiding and unhiding is entirely within your control with the Visual Basic Editor. Okay, so we now know how to make sheets very hidden and how to bring them back using the editor. But what if you're collaborating with someone and you're concerned that they also know this Visual Basic Editor trick and might go in and try to unhide your sheets? Well, there's an optional extra layer of security that we can add: password protecting access to the VBA project itself. This stops anyone without the password from even getting into the editor to see the sheets or to change their properties. Here's how you do it. Make sure that you have the Visual Basic Editor window open again. Now, go up to the menu bar at the top of the window, click on Tools, and then come down and select the option VBA Project Properties. It usually has the name of your project, like VBA Project Properties, but it might vary slightly in your case. But go ahead and click on that. This will open a new dialog box. In this box, you want to look for a tab labeled Protection. Click on that tab to bring its options to the front. Here, you'll see a checkbox that says Lock Project for Viewing. This here is the key. Ticking this box means that the next time someone tries to open the editor for this specific workbook, they'll be prompted for a password first. So go ahead and click that checkbox in order to tick it. Once you tick the box, the password fields below will become active. You need to enter a password that you want to use to protect access. Click in the password field and type in your chosen password. For security, it shows up as dots. Then, click into the confirm password field just below it and retype the exact same password again to make sure that you didn't make a typo. Choose something secure but memorable. Because, and this is really, really important, you absolutely must remember the password that you set here. If you forget this password, you will be locked out from accessing the editor for this workbook in the future. And there's generally no easy way to recover it if it's lost. So make sure it's something that you won't forget or store it securely in a password manager. Once you've entered and confirmed your password and you're sure that you'll remember it, click on the OK button. Now, this protection doesn't take effect immediately whilst the file is open. But after you save the workbook, which we'll cover next, close it and then reopen it, the next time anyone, including you, tries to access the editor by pressing Alt F11 or using the Developer tab, they'll be greeted with a password prompt. Without the correct password, they simply cannot view or modify the VBA project, adding a very effective security layer to prevent your very hidden sheets from being easily revealed by someone who's a bit more tech savvy. So that's how you add a password protection to the project itself. Now, with your sheets hidden and optionally protected, we absolutely need to cover how to save the file correctly. Because this final step is absolutely crucial. This is probably the most common point of confusion when using the very hidden feature, so please pay close attention. It's all about how you save your workbook. Let's say you've set your sensitive data sheet to Excel sheet very hidden, and you want it to remain hidden for the next time that you close and reopen this Excel file. You must save the file in a very specific format. Here's why. The standard Excel workbook format, XLSX, is designed primarily for storing data, formulas, and formatting. It intentionally strips out any underlying macro code or VBA project information to enhance security and reduce file size. Our very hidden setting is considered to be part of that VBA project information. So if you just save it as a normal XLSX file, Excel will discard the very hidden status when you close it. The next time you open it, your sheet will likely have reappeared, or it might just revert to being only standard hidden. To preserve the very hidden state, you need to save the file in a format that explicitly keeps this VBA information intact. So go to the File menu and choose Save As. Pick where you want to save the file, just like usual. Now look closely at the Save options. Below the file name box, there's a critical drop-down menu that shows the type of file we are saving this as. Click on this drop-down. You'll see a list of different file formats. The one you must choose is this one here, Excel Macro Enabled Workbook, or XLSM. The M at the end stands for macro, indicating that this format will preserve any VBA code and project settings, including our very hidden property. So go ahead and click that to select it. Now you can go ahead and click Save. By saving as an XLSM file, you ensure that when you close and reopen this workbook, your designated sheets will still be very hidden exactly as you left them. And just a quick heads up, because XLSM files can contain code or macros, Excel often displays a security warning when you first open them, asking if you want to enable content. This is completely normal behavior for macro-enabled workbooks. If you trust the source, in this case yourself, you'll typically need to click Enable Content. So remember, always save as XLSM if you want your very hidden sheets to stay hidden. And there you have it. You now know the difference between the standard hidden sheets and a truly hidden one using the very hidden property in Excel's Visual Basic Editor. This is a fantastic way to protect sensitive data from prying eyes, or simply to streamline complex workbooks by hiding calculation sheets or configuration tabs without worrying about them being easily unhidden. I encourage you to open a blank Excel file and give this a try yourself. Have a go at hiding and unhiding sheets using this awesome method, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to check out the channel. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.